In the last setup video, we were able to download the asset packs from Kenney. We installed this template construct3 file that Kenney has put together from the original Pixel Platformer asset pack. And we're going to look at how can we make this into a simple 3-level game, because there are 2 other expansion packs, one a farm and one an industrial. So on this particular one here is that he's given us this layout called game. And on this layout is that I want to rename this to and make this my level 1. Now you can right click on the game layer and rename it here, or over in the properties panel, if you have that particular layout selected, you're given the properties on this layer. So I'm going to go ahead and rename this one to level number 1. And what's important to look at is this event sheet. So we're given this events that makes the game work. When we make our next level, we need to make sure that this event sheet is added to the additional layouts in order for things to work properly. If not, it'll say none. So I'm going to go to my layouts folder. I'm going to right click and I'm going to add a layout. Now we're given an option here. We can add a layout with an event sheet, or we can add the layout only. So let's say you wanted to have, maybe later on in our series here, that we create a title screen or a main menu. You may want to have an event sheet that only runs that layout. But in our case, we don't. We want the events that Kenney has created for us to be used on all new layouts. So I'm going to do add layout only. I'm given a default size. So I'm going to go ahead and select this new layout, number 1 here. And if I look at this, it has none on the event sheet. So I want to make sure that the events that are being used from the previous layout are working. As well as I'm going to make all the levels the same in this one here, just to keep it very simple. So I'm going to select level 1, and I'm going to copy the size of the layout and go back to my layout number 1. I'm going to rename this one to level number 2. And then I'm going to override the size with the same size as the original. So here's our new layout. I'm going to make sure that while I'm on the layouts here, I'm going to turn on the grid. I'm going to snap to grid. I know that the tiles are 18 by 18, so I'm going to change this width to 18 and the height to 18 in preparation for the tile map that we're going to add on here. So I'm going to go ahead and first take a look at, so the original layout, or level number 1 now, is using this tile map here. Now I don't want to reuse this one. I want to make a new tile map based on the expansion pack that I'm going to choose. So what I want to do is that I don't want to leave this as a generic name. So I'm going to rename this one as, you can leave it as tile map and then say original. That way it's the original one, or if you want to do original tile map, however you want to word that, but I'll keep it with the name of the tile map so we can keep them all together. And so on this level number 2 is that I'm going to right click and I'm going to insert a new object. I'm going to locate the tile map, and I'm going to use the farm pack extension first. So I will have this as tile map, and then we'll do farm. And then I'm going to insert, and I'm going to locate that tile map. So go up to the folder in the upper left hand corner. I'm going to go to downloads. I'm going to go in the farm expansion, in the tile map, and there's 2 different ones to choose from. I recommend that we use the one with packed. It's because there's no margin in between each tile that I got to compensate for. So I'm going to use that one there. And then I'm going to exit out. Now, before I do anything, you always want to come down to the properties on the tile map and change the tile width and height corresponding to the tile map, which are 18 by 18 as well. So not only do you have the grid 18 by 18, but you also have the tile width and height that needs to be 18 by 18. And then if you don't have the tile palette opened up here. If this is missing for some reason, make sure you go to Menu, View, over to Bars, and then make sure that Tile Map Bar is opened up. And then this is where you'll get a chance to go ahead and play, mess around with the design, come up with a nice design level. Make sure that as you are designing your level, as an example here, let's say I use this section here. I'm going to put this in for a moment right there. You notice that at the bottom, this is cut off, but I want to be able to use that graphic on that lower part. You want to make sure this is down one complete tile. Otherwise, it will not print the tiles at the bottom of the screen down there. So if you're missing this, if you see that little black line at the bottom there, it's because the tile map has to be expanded down one section. And then also make sure that if you are going to use any types of graphics that are sort of for decoration, that you want the player to walk in front of this pumpkin, make sure that you double click on that object, and then where it says use collision, you want to uncheck that. That's going to allow the player to walk in front of that graphic on the level. So a couple of key things to think about. I'm going to go ahead and let you take some time, work on the level design, and we'll come back to mine here in a moment. So here we have the final design. Is that just take the time, go very simple through the tiles that are available to you as you put together your design. Nothing too fancy, just to get an idea what the tiles can represent in your design. Making sure that everything's kind of laid out in a simple format. Knowing that and double checking that for each tile that you want to use that the player needs to walk in front of, make sure that you double check, and here this collision box is turned off for all those tiles. So take a few minutes, get yourself set up on a level, and we'll see you in the next video.